let's talk about Gen Z and money. It's a really complicated topic. On one hand, you hear they're the most financially savvy generation in history. But on the other, you hear story after story about how they're struggling. So what's really going on?
Right, this is the big question, isn't it? Are they these brilliant financial minds, or are they just flat out broke? The truth is, they seem to be living in this weird paradox, armed with more information than ever before, but facing some pretty intense financial headwinds.
And this slide, wow, this just lays the paradox bare. You've got this incredible optimism. A whopping 70% believe they're going to do better financially than their parents. But then you look at the reality on the ground. 60% are living paycheck to paycheck. That's not just a small gap, you know. That's a massive canyon between where they want to be and where they are right now.
To really get what's happening, you have to look at the economic storm they walked into. This isn't just about, buying too much avocado toast. It's about inheriting a financial world with some serious, deep-seated challenges.
Okay, let's just start with this number, 107.6%. That's how much the average student loan debt has exploded. For so many in Gen Z, day one of adulthood starts with a mountain of debt that previous generations just can't relate to. It completely changes the game from the very beginning.
And that debt, well, it has a direct ripple effect. While student debt was skyrocketing, the national homeownership rate was falling. And those two things are absolutely connected. I mean, when a huge slice of your paycheck is already promised to student loans, how are you supposed to save up for a down payment on a house? That key piece of the American dream is suddenly feeling way out of reach.
And this isn't just data on a chart. This is the real story. This is Mark. He's 26, a data scientist. He's got a good job, and even he feels like he's nowhere near being able to afford a home. His story is one we're hearing over and over again. It's not an ambition problem, it's an affordability crisis.
But here's the thing about Gen Z. They are not just sitting back and taking it. Nope. They are getting scrappy, they're getting creative, and they are literally writing a whole new financial playbook. So, how exactly are they fighting back? Welcome to the side hustle economy. This is a huge part of their strategy. It's everything from turning a passion like arts and crafts into a business, to monetizing their YouTube channels, to freelancing with skills like tutoring or web design. The whole idea is to diversify. They're not putting all their eggs in one 9-to-5 basket. They're building multiple streams of income to create their own safety net.
And you see this playbook being shared everywhere, especially in online communities. Check out this comment from a Reddit user. It's all about what you could call radical frugality. Thrifting an entire wardrobe instead of buying new clothes. Renting a room to slash housing costs. These aren't just little tips. They are fundamental lifestyle choices designed to seize back some financial power.
So let's see what this looks like in the real world. This is Jenna's budget. She's 26. Now just look at this. She spends 30% on rent and an identical 30% on retirement savings. Think about that. That is an incredibly aggressive saving strategy. This isn't just putting a few bucks aside. It's a deliberate, disciplined plan to build a future they feel isn't guaranteed.
Now, of course, as the first true digital natives, technology is at the very heart of how Gen Z manages their money. But, and this is a big but, it's a double-edged sword. It offers these amazing tools for empowerment, but it also lays out some really tempting new traps.
On the bright side, you've got this whole world of fintech right in your pocket. There are apps like Clio that make budgeting feel like you're texting a friend, or YNAB that lets you control every single dollar. These tools give them a level of financial visibility and control that, frankly, just didn't exist before.
But then, you've got the other side of that sword. Buy now, pay later services. You see them everywhere at checkout. They let you get what you want right now and pay for it in smaller chunks over time. It feels super easy, almost frictionless. And that's where the danger lies.
And this quote from Professor Shane Inetta just nails it. These services make spending addictive because they separate the joy of getting something new from the pain of actually paying for it. It's a psychological loophole that can really quickly lead to overspending and getting into debt.
And you can see here just how common this is. A huge number of Gen Zers are familiar with these services. But look at the bar on the right. A pretty significant chunk has actually used them. It just goes to show that even with all the best budgeting tools in the world, these new digital temptations create real risks.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about a classic financial hurdle, the credit conundrum. You know how it goes. To get approved for things, you need a good credit history. But to build a credit history, you need to get approved for things. It's the ultimate chicken or egg problem that every young person faces. So how is Gen Z cracking this code? With some really smart strategic moves. They're starting with secured credit cards where you put down a deposit. They're piggybacking on their parents' good credit by becoming authorized users. They're even using special credit builder loans and new services that report their on-time rent payments. Each one of these is a small, deliberate step to build that critical financial reputation from scratch.
So when you pull all of this together, the insane economic pressures, the creative hustles, the relationship with tech, you start to see that this is way more than just a few new saving habits. We are watching the emergence of an entirely new philosophy about money.
Here's a core belief of that new philosophy. The old idea of job security, stay at one company for 40 years and get a gold watch, that's pretty much dead. For Gen Z, real security isn't about being loyal to an employer. It's about building financial independence through multiple, diverse streams of income that they control.
And their whole definition of wealth is different too. It's not just about piling up as much cash as possible. Look at this survey. Many of them agree that it's more important to invest in sustainable, ethical companies than it is to just chase the highest possible return. For this generation, their money has to align with their values.
So we kind of end up right back where we started. Gen Z is caught in this paradox. They're financially squeezed, but they're also unbelievably strategic and principled. They're redefining what success and wealth even mean. And that leaves us with a huge question, not just for them, but for all of us. When a whole generation starts playing by a completely new set of financial rules, what happens to the old game?